Alright, well, let me show you something real nice. This thing is a true hot rod. It's based on the Gibson Firebird, as you can see. I hope you know that much. And it's called a Z-Bird because it's my take on it. And the theme of this guitar was not to make it a vintage flavored project theme, but to only take the body style, the body shape, and that's as far as it goes as being linked to Gibson. I mean, it doesn't feel like a Gibson, doesn't play like a Gibson, doesn't sound like a Gibson, doesn't function as a Gibson, nothing. So the theme is pretty well engaged with artistic liberties here. And as you can see, a Fender style tremolo I wanted to put on it. And something very exciting here is these are completely made by me, these pickups. They're hand wound by myself, and got all the specs for these pickups. And what happened is, after they were done, they sound tremendous, absolutely tremendous, and it's something that I was very, very happy with, to realize how good they turned out. And I've got the specs for them, and I think I'm going to stick to this as being one of my pickup models. Now, of course, I have to always improve things. I have to always innovate things. I always have to change things. I always have to make things my own. And I've done something here that has been in my mind for a long time. And you know what? I should have been making pickups from day one. But I wanted to concentrate on the guitar itself. I mean, there's enough there to concentrate on. And so I left pickups to others. And now I have complete control, full control over every aspect of the pickup that goes into these guitars. Let me continue. If you look closely, you will notice that, and I don't think this has been done before, so remember where you saw this first. Okay. If you look closely, in a humbucking pickup, everybody uses the slug coil as a dummy coil, you know, mostly for the function of bucking the hum. In terms of the response to picking up the individual strings, they don't concentrate on that because it's basically a dummy coil. And the real dummies that hook up humbuckers and use the slug coil as their single coil, active single coil, when the coil split mode is engaged and they throw the pickup into single coil mode, they use the slug coil. And how stupid is that? Because the slug coil is not balanced in terms of string response, in terms of volume of the strings, because the slugs are always flush with the flat work, with the bobbin. But if you look closely, I've actually staggered, I don't know if I can get good focusing on here, but I've actually staggered the slugs, all right, which is quite impressive. And why no dummy has ever thought of this, I don't know. But I still always use the screw coils as my single coil, the single coil part of the pickup when I throw it into single coil. And that means that my tone knob is a push-pull coil split. and throws both pickups simultaneously into single coil mode. So I'm always activating the screw coils when the pickups are in single coil mode.
So this is how I approach pickup winding, pickup making. The pickups always have to be balanced with each other in terms of volume and in terms of placement, of course. And to get that Strat dual pickup quacky sound, which I want to emulate on a humbucker guitar as well, I place the two active single coils as close to each other as possible. So you're picking up this and this in single coil mode. And when this is pulled, it's in single coil mode. And I'm getting, so if the toggle is in the center, I'm getting these two activated. And I will show you after this, I will give you a tonal demonstration of what a nice Strat quack I can get out of this guitar. Now, the other thing that I do with these pickups is, well, I just figured I might as well introduce you to my pickups here, them being rather new, and myself being rather excited about them. The other thing that I do is I don't pot these. Potting means that you submerge the finished pickup in a pot of melted wax and keep it in there for a while so that the wax penetrates the entire coil. You know, and there's some benefits to that. If you're playing high volume, the pickups feedback a lot less. But at the same time, you're killing a lot of the microphonics. And what you want is you want these to be like little microphones. And you want them to be alive and active. Not active in the sense of active pickups, of course. Those work on batteries. But you want the pickup to be responsive as possible.
Sensitive to the touch.
So, these are very natural sounding pickups.
More acoustic in nature.
And they're not deadened like potted pickups are. So there is a certain formula, and you have to have insight into pickup making in order to make a humbucker pickup which gives you a distinct single coil mode and a distinct double coil humbucking mode, which are two different sounds. Very important. Might as well have that on a guitar. The other thing that you may not realize is the way Gibson traditionally, and still does to this day, of course, because they certainly don't want to improve anything. And you know what? You can't blame them. You can't blame these big corporations for not being innovative, because they are dead scared
of you.
That the morons out there, some of you out there, will not touch them, will not buy from them. If they were to improve logically, practically, any of their traditional designs that the current Gibson company had absolutely nothing to do with. Son of a bitch, I'm getting angry just talking about this. See what you made me do? The Gibson company of the 50s has nothing to do with the current Gibson company. I mean, it's a whole other company, other corporation. And so, I mean, the guitars were built differently. The ideology was different. The tooling was entirely different. That's why these shysters, this fucking shyster, Paul Reed Smith, is trying to pass off CNC-made, plastic, artificial, lifeless, disgusting feeling BMW thick paint as vintage guitars. Can you fucking believe that? And you morons are swallowing his fucking semen. My God. The way you make a guitar has everything to do with what that guitar is going to become.
The methods, the tooling of manufacturing. Is it made by machine or is it made by a human being?
Now the Gibson guitars of the 50s were made by old women in Michigan. They even had a funny term, something called the Old Women's Club. They were old white women. Fenders were made by Hispanics in California. But the point was, they were made by hand. PRS, Paul Smith, they were made by hand. You can't fucking make a vintage guitar with your CNC machines that you don't even know how to turn on, I bet you.
Even if you decide to exploit an old man, a dying old man from a nursing home and push him around in a wheelchair, that will not give you a vintage guitar. Only the correct tooling, hand craftsmanship based, and the correct materials. You gotta create the exact same manufacturing environment and materials and ideology, the same technology that those vintage guitars were produced under. To get a vintage guitar, a computer numerically controlled machine that spits out this shit. 6 at a time, 12 at a time, bodies, necks. And then you coat it with car paint. Thick plastic covering. I mean, that's fine if you're paying $300 for it at Guitar Center. Every manufacturer, regardless of what the brand says on the headstock, regardless of the shape of the headstock, they all come out of maybe 3 different factories. They're all made by the same people with the same machines. And that exact same fucking guitar is made the same way, with the same materials, with the same technology as a $6,000 PRS is made. Go buy the $300 guitar, okay? Have a brain. It's the same shit.
Anyway, well, you've got the, since I have it in the back here, controls strategically placed, of course, for both functionality and aesthetics. Now, this is really funny because those who are really keen, who have a higher than average IQ, you may have even thought, well, actually, maybe I'm asking for too much here, but the tremolos, okay, are made for 1 3/4 inch thickness bodies.
A Stratocaster thickness body is standard for these trem units.
And again, maybe I'm asking for too much, but you should know that the Firebird is a lot thinner than 1 3/4 inch. And the Firebird is what, 38.5 millimeters, which translates to 1.5 inches, I believe. So I would not have been able to fit this block into this thin body, right? You follow me?
It would have protruded from the back of the guitar. It would have been the block, the tremolo block would have been too long for the body.
Follow me? I don't talk to you like little toddlers, like other guitar. I can't handle other guitar channels because they treat you like little kids. It's like a kindergarten class. And a lot of you guys really enjoy that, and you feel safe in that environment, but I don't do that. Okay, this is not a kindergarten class here. I expect you to know your shit. If you come in the vicinity of a Zachary guitar, you gotta know your shit. All right. If you don't know your shit, I throw you out of the class. All right. I name you and I shame you. You gotta know your shit. Because I know my shit, so I expect you to know your shit. Okay? So, I had to remove this block and cut it.
And then paint it. Make it look totally original.
Cut it down by 4 millimeters. Can you believe it? And I made it work perfectly. Always 2 springs, specially gauge springs. Especially tension springs for me. So that's what I mean. Anything you do to these guitars, if you're like a real fucking idiot and you get a hold of one of these guitars and you have no fucking clue what to do, you're going to destroy these guitars. All right? And you're going to be a real moron, and I hope you are totally ashamed of yourself and kick yourself and maybe hide your face forever. Because you gotta know your shit when you're dealing with these guitars. I keep telling you that. Now, I understand that a lot of you guys are not technical. And, you know, you were in the back of the line when talent was handed out. I understand that. It's not your fault, but try. I mean, it's never too late to educate yourself. Here you've got 4 screws. They're wider apart than a Fender would be, so it's a lot more support there for the neck. And then, of course, right here is the genius, which is the spike. So this neck is not resting on the fucking body, okay? It's only resting on one metal spike. Now, isn't that cool? Yeah, it's very cool. Very, very, very cool. Just like your audiophile speakers. So, what else can I tell you? What else can I tell you? Oh, look at this beauty. Look at this. You can hear it. I want you to hear it. Can you hear it? No fucking plastic PRS paint here, people. Oh, no, 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 no. No glossy fucking thick PRS paint here. Oh, no. You're going to have to go somewhere else for that one. You know where to go for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not here. Not here. Don't even mention it. I'm going to puke everywhere. Okay, feel that. Feel that. Feel that. This feels like a woman's skin in the back of her body, right above her ass. Okay? Feel that sometime. Right above her ass on her back. And this feels just as soft as that. Alright? Okay? And I want you to feel wood. You know, when you're making love to a woman, I want you to feel skin. Alright? Paul Smith doesn't think that that's important. What do you think of that? Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about Paul Smith? Oh my God. Alright, so let's turn this back and see what we got here. Okay, so I didn't finish with the pickups. So traditionally Gibson places the screw coil right here, close to the bridge. Okay? And what you got there is you got a pickup, even in humbucking mode, that's a little bit on the fucking bright side. Okay? And smart people were complaining that your traditional Les Paul is too bright in the bridge pickup and too muddy in the neck pickup. Well, there's a reason for that. There's several reasons for that. But one of the reasons, okay, now you have to do some deep and major analysis. Again, you got to know your shit. Well, I got to know my shit. That's my job, right? You got to know your shit so you can appreciate my knowledge. How's that? All right? And you're not going to get that on the PRS channel. PRS? Yeah. PMS? What is it? PRS. So getting back to the pickup. So now, what is the one reason why these pickups are on a Gibson type of guitar too bright on the bridge, even on humbucking mode, and too muddy on the neck pickup, is because they put the screw coil right here next to the bridge, and on the neck pickup, screw coil next to the fingerboard as far as possible. So the screw coils are at opposite ends. And of course, if they're using the slug coil as a dummy coil, you know, the strings are being picked up mainly by the screw coils. So the screw coils here are too far this way and too far that way. And here it's too far to the bridge. So
this is why the bridge humbucker is too bright and the neck humbucker is too dark.
That major difference between the two pickups in terms of tone. So what that means that even if I have the bridge pickup in single coil mode running off the screw coil as a single coil, I am still getting a warm tone relative to this being the bridge pickup. Okay, as warm as I can go. And on this, I'm getting a brighter tone, this being in the neck position. And I'm also getting the close proximity of the two screw coils to each other when using them together and getting that strat. I'm not going to say out of phase tone because that's a misnomer. That's a wrong, because it's not out of phase, but it kind of sounds out of phase, all right? You get natural phasing with the coils being close together, okay? So, oh, did I mention that, okay, I mentioned the silky feel of the neck, but I didn't mention that this is a rosewood neck. Now, don't be dumb now, okay? You've heard this many times. Your favorite guitar magazines, which are pretty well dead now. All they do is they go online. You get them for free online. But these fucking dummies that work for guitar magazines, they always kept calling necks rosewood necks, where they actually meant rosewood fingerboards. So you have to be correct with what you're saying, okay? So do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'm talking to you as toddlers now as well. Well, but I'm talking to you, I'm trying to educate you, all right? I'm not trying to pander to you, all right, and cater to you. So this is a rosewood neck with an ebony fingerboard. And when you got an ebony fingerboard on a guitar, it feels totally different. It gives the guitar a totally solid, more massive feel. It must have something to do with the hardness of ebony, which is the hardest wood there is. But so again, rosewood neck, one-piece rosewood neck,
quarter sawn always,
an ebony fingerboard with stainless steel high frets. High frets, meaning, what is that good for? Bending strings, okay? Bending strings, ease of playing. Very low action, extremely low action. How can you get a low action on a guitar? You can get a low action on the guitar only by doing one thing, having a perfect fret job. If you don't have a perfect fret job, you're stuck with a high action. It's all you can have. Understand? It took me a long time. Doing a perfect fret job takes years. Okay? But I can do a perfect fret job. And I'm very proud of that. Okay? And if you think that's an easy job, just try screwing in a light bulb. Alright? You will realize that you cannot even screw in a light bulb. So, don't try a fret job. Okay? So stainless steel frets.
That's 26 frets. I usually do 24 frets, but on something like the Z-Bird, Firebird Z-Bird, I go with 26 frets specifically to give me more, a longer, larger neck joint area. Just the way the neck joins the body on a Firebird, I need more space there for the screws to be further apart and give me more strength.
Really wide up to fret 16. From fret 16 on, it's thinner frets. Okay? Isn't that clever? Sometimes I use 3 different size frets with the frets. But on this one it's 2. I mainly use 2. So by that it gives you more room up here where you have less space between frets. Okay, what else can I tell you? What else can I tell you about this? Okay, well, this is a fairly heavy guitar in terms of what I make. I think it's about 8 pounds. I forget now exactly. It'll be on the website. It's still a lot lighter than your favorite Les Paul that you love so much. But what happened is, the reason I have this piece of wood here is, oh my God, this is a heavy piece of mahogany. This is genuine mahogany from South America, okay? This is not the African variety. I forget, what are those called? I use that as well, and it's a lot lighter. It feels different. It sands differently, cuts differently. It finishes differently. I don't even know if they should call that mahogany, but they do. It's African mahogany. What's the other term for it? Damn. Escapes me, eludes me right now. Sapel, I think. Yeah. And anyway, but this is genuine, and I can hardly lift this guy with one hand. Okay? Certainly don't want to drop it on the guitar here, but so I said, what the hell am I gonna do with this heavy piece of mahogany? I had a board. I think I had about 3 blanks to get out of it, and I thought, well, you know, it's thin though, and even being thin, it's heavy. And I said, well, I'm gonna have to make Firebirds out of it, Z-Birds out of it. So that's what I did, and this is the natural color that this guitar would have normally been, but I stained it. I did want to kind of get it close to the traditional cherry red that Gibson had, and still has sometimes, under what they call lacquer, and a bunch of bullshit, because that is not lacquer they use, okay? I've seen enough, and I have vintage guitars myself, and what they use now that they call nitrocellulose lacquer, it is not, okay? You're still getting a plastic finish, and when that is removed, it comes off like an disgusting paste. And the trouble with that is it never cures. You know, some people who hang out on these guitar channels on YouTube that treat them like toddlers in a kindergarten class, and they end up learning nothing. They make the comment about relic guitars, about, oh, I'm going to relic it myself. This is, you know, I can relic it myself. Well, no, you can't.
No, you can't. This is the tragedy of it. The modern plastic thick finishes never cure. They always stay soft on your fucking guitar, okay? And they are extremely durable, yes. And that's the problem. They're bulletproof, practically. You can't relic it, okay? You can't unless you take sanders and drills or whatever, drag it behind your truck. So the sad part is that, yes, we all want to relic our own guitars by playing them so much, and we could do that. We could do that almost by doing nothing to vintage guitars. They relic themselves with age. They crack up, they chip, because it's a thin, very hard, brittle, porous finish, which the new plastic, urethane, polyurethane, vinyl, whatever the hell it is, with the clear coats and the multiple layers, that shit is so awful, you can't relic it.
You can't relic it by playing it naturally, that is. That's the way you should be able to do it. On the vintage guitar, you can. On an oil finish guitar, you definitely can, like the ones I build. But on the new finishes that they overuse, be it a $200 Asian mass-produced shit guitar or a $4,000 PRS, it's the same fucking crap. Understand? That's what you're getting. So don't buy the $4,000 PRS. Buy the $200 version of it. You're getting the same shit.
Anyway, enough of that. What else can I tell you? So anyway, this is a modern theme here. So of course we're going to use modern tuners, locking tuners. We're going to use my special material for the nut and for the string bar. And you've seen the tuning on these babies, have you not? Yes, you have. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay. Perfect tuning, right? So it's tremendous what you can do with it. The position dots are also rosewood, and it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted them to be there, but I wanted them subdued. I don't want him. On this guitar, I didn't want him to jump out. See, everything has got to do with the theme of every particular guitar, and I explained that in my previous video. And if you change any part of this theme, you have fucked up the theme, and you should kick yourself in the head. Okay? And here is the tuners, and here again is the rosewood neck, and here again is the spike neck joint, and here again is the modified tremolo, and here again is the switch pot and the simple toggle. The volume, got to point out something about the volume pots that I use. And I'll talk about that on a future guitar as well. I'll show it to you. But, and I've mentioned this before, it's almost got no friction to it. So if you want to train yourself to be one of these volume swell experts, you can do it on this guitar. And it's placed, and it's not placed like on a traditional Strat underneath the bar. I mean, how the fuck can you get to it if it's there? But it's placed a little bit lower and a little bit behind, so that when you're playing, you can put your pinky on and go wow, 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 and pretend you're a fucking cello player or something, violin player, viola player. Okay? So that's it. That's it, folks. That's it, folks. All done by hand, all honest, all done by me.
You're looking at an actual guitar builder here. Okay, not a cheesy salesman. Should be on a used car lot or something. See, the whole point here is to give you more knowledge and get you to a level where, get you to the next level, and the level above that, and the level above that, to the point where you will be, just like myself, for several decades now, you will be unable to walk into a guitar shop ever again, because there will be nothing there for you. And I want to get you to the point where you're going to be able to distinguish between a fraud and an actual guitar builder. And it's really not a difficult concept to understand. Now, if you're a viewer of this, is not, I really don't consider this a guitar channel, but it's very different than that. But if you are used to the regular guitar channels on YouTube, and you frequent these channels, and you get great satisfaction by experiencing them, and you love the host, and the host is considered by you as being just a wonderful guy, and no, they will never offend you with anything, and they're always going to be politically correct, and they're not going to introduce any concepts that are going to challenge you intellectually, challenge you emotionally. No, they will not do any of that. They're going to treat you like a little fucking toddler. They're gonna treat you like you're in the kindergarten class, and they're gonna speak your language. They're idiots. You're an idiot. But you're here, and I want to get you out of that mode. I want to make you grow. Because the stupider you are, the more likely is that you're going to believe trash, lies, deception, and this goes for everything in the world. Everything that happens in the world, not just in the world of guitars. You have to have knowledge. You have to be perceptive. And you have to have consciousness. And that goes for everything. But we're talking about guitars here. And this is why you will no longer be able to walk into a guitar shop ever again. Or you will immediately distinguish between lies and reality. Deception and reality. And when you see a cheesy salesperson selling you flashy guitars, shiny guitars with a thick coat of BMW car paint on it, and underneath a disgustingly gross, unnatural looking figured wood that you will never touch in your life, you will never make contact with, you will know that the fucking guy is a fraud. He is a no-talent piece of shit fraud. And you will do this. You will be able to identify this without me telling you. That's when you know that you've just gone to the next level. And you know what? Once you do that, there's no turning back. You will be on the other side. And I will be there with you. We will meet.
No fucking CNC machines here. That's for people that have no talent. Alright. Look at these frets. Look at these frets. Stainless steel is the way to go, people.
All right, there's something else that I forgot to mention. When someone thinks of the Firebird, including myself in the past, you would think that it's a fairly large, somewhat clumsy body, odd-shaped body, and it's going to be maybe a hassle for you to play, maybe not that ergonomic. Well, that's partially true of the original Gibson Firebird. And also, let's not forget the neck-heavy aspect of the original Firebird. Because the body is large, but the neck only sinks into the body a very short distance on the original Firebird. That means the neck sticks way out there, right? So when you're playing it, you're way out here playing it, let's say in first position. So I've mentioned this before, but in case you forgot or you haven't been memorizing everything I say in these videos, which you should. What I've done is I took the neck and I moved everything further into the body. Now what is that? What is the result of that? The result of that, it's no longer a neck heavy guitar, the Firebird, because the center of gravity is moved inward, more towards the center of the guitar. Let's say in the direction of the strap button in the back of the guitar. In that direction, everything is moved this way. So that's one thing that I did. The other thing, to make the Firebird a very ergonomic guitar, much more so than the original, is to give it contouring. Alright, so you will notice that I have contouring here for your elbow, for your forearm, which makes tremendous difference. I have as much contouring in the back, the belly contouring, as a Strat would have, okay? And also, for aesthetic reasons, and also to cut down some of the weight, if you notice, artistically, you got the contouring here, and here, it follows it. So there's consistency at the opposite end of the body. I think that's pretty cool. So this big lower horn is shaved down as this end is shaved down for the forearm. So that's quite unique. So this results in a quite comfortable instrument to play. Surprisingly so. If you're used to the original Firebird, you would be amazed how much more ergonomic this feels. In a previous video, I was explaining what I call the uniplane headstock found on all Zachary guitars, where the headstock is in the exact same plane as the rest of the neck. There is no, in other words, there is no tilt, there is no angle to the headstock. And I explained that one of the huge benefits in having a uniplane headstock, and also a headstock that does not flare out like your traditional headstocks on every other guitar you will see, as you know. And this is what throws you off visually. You know, the stupid millennial boys freak out at this headstock. But I covered that in the previous video, if you want to listen to that. But what I forgot, well, what I did say is that I need, one of the benefits to this is I need a very narrow board to make the neck. And I mean, this should be apparent, self-evident, but just in case it's not, I'll spell it out. I need a very narrow board this way. Okay? But because there is no tilt to the headstock, I also need a board no more than an inch thick this way. Understand? Just think of all the wood I would have to waste if I made a tilted headstock for your visual pleasure only. Okay? That would be very stupid. So with me, form follows function. So very narrow of a board I need this way, and a very narrow board I need this way. So a Zachary neck can be made with very little wood. It's one of the things I wanted to point out in the previous video, but I forgot.
make them so hard that I can't technically play them well. Next single coil. Now both single coil. Both single coil.
Wow.
What a workout.